Welcome to the Lakeland Stadium at Rowrah in Cumbria for the third round of the British Minibikes Championship in 2025. It's our second visit to this stunning location in the heart of Cumbria's Lake District. Following our round one visit earlier in the year, saw some epic encounters in all of the classes. It's a circuit with plenty of overtaking opportunities, so expect some great racing, and with weather conditions set to be changeable, that usually signifies drama when on two wheels with dry tyres. Races only coming at you thick and fast, and we're kicking off with the minimoto class, in which NELLIE NEWTH dominated at her only appearance this season from round one. But if practice and qualifying are anything to go by, Austin Dilks, who won round two, has a Blackadder-style cunning plan for NELLIE after some overnight changes in setup. NELLIE won race one yesterday, smallest grid of the day, but now would not be a good time to go and make the tee. This class is for riders from 6 years of age. NELLIE and Austin both aged 8. Remember that when you watch this race. Here's Jake Sanson with the grid positions.
So the two top riders of the first two rounds of the championship now meet wheel to wheel on track here at round three at Rowrah. NELLIE NEWTH and Austin Dilks on the front row of the grid for the Minimoto rookies. Joey Billum is alongside Daisy Grayson. It says Benny Grayson, but of course we all know it is Daisy Grayson on the number 19 bike. And in fifth position on the grid, it is Harry Everts on the 61. 5 riders at British level. Hopefully we get a very decent race of it, and already a big charge forward from Daisy Grayson, who tried to overtake Austin Dilks there off the line. Joey Billum actually managing to get ahead of Daisy Grayson at that point. And so NELLIE NEWTH was ahead of all of them and controls the pace as they go through McRae's for the first time. So it's NELLIE NEWTH, Austin Dilks, Joey Billum and Daisy Grayson, and then it is Harry Everts. So all 5 riders in position. Don't forget, of course, that it was Austin Dilks who dominated last time out at Teesside, but the Queen of Cumbria from last time was NELLIE NEWTH, doing a fantastic job on the bike that she completely conquered for the first round of the championship in. Fantastic work from her as she rolls into St John's for the first time. Then up towards Sunny Bend, in through the square left-hander. Very good work so far. Very tricky at the moment as the competitors are giving us a really interesting taste of life in Cumbria, but we still think there's going to be some adverse weather conditions creeping in through the course of the day. Changeable is what the weather forecast tells us. It doesn't really give us any indication of when or how the rain is going to come. NELLIE NEWTH a little bit more hesitant through the first S's, and that could have been the moment there for Austin Dilks as they go into McRae's for the second time. Austin Dilks trying to get parallel. Oh, that was close. NELLIE NEWTH, though, needs to be very calculated as to where she places the bike here. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, but if she's calculated, there's a lot of things that can go right. Down Lakeside Straight, up to Stewart. And through they go in the hairpin, up towards St John's once again. Meanwhile, Joey Billum still running well in front of Daisy Grayson, but Grayson, the second of the 2 females in this race, really trying to hustle Joey Billum to make the move for third position. Dilks really swarming around behind NELLIE NEWTH at Sunny Bend, hoping for an opportunity, wider trajectory through paddock, might be able to tighten in for the inside line and go for the move in the S's. Not going to happen yet. Battle for third place, Joey Billum and Daisy Grayson still having a good ride of it. Out through the S's at the start, and again NELLIE NEWTH a little bit hesitant and reluctant perhaps through the S's, just a little bit more deliberate than Austin Dilks. Dilks carries a little bit more power through there. I think he's sizing up the overtake, just wants to read the situation. It's no good leading in the middle of the race when the only lap that's important to lead is the last one. So Austin Dilks comes out of Idales, along Lakeside once again, up towards the Stewart hairpin, just reading the situation as best as possible here with NELLIE NEWTH. Doesn't want to overdo it. Certainly plenty of race still to go in this one. So you don't want to rush things. You certainly want to make sure you're calculated in each move. Through Sunny, left-hander, back on the throttle, up towards Paddock Bend. Again, Austin Dilks is looking for this wide trajectory to try and cut back in and make the bid to get ahead of NELLIE NEWTH. But she is the Queen of Cumbria. She dominated in round one, but then Austin Dilks dominated at Teesside in round 2. So the 2 best riders of the 2025 season openers are now absolutely loggerheads here into McRae's, parallel to the Lakeside. On the run down to Iredale's into the right-handed hairpin. They're approaching Harry Everts. They're going to put a lap on him. Looks like Daisy Grayson is starting to get aggressive with Joey Billum as well. So it's boy versus girl for first and for third. Into the hairpin, Harry Everts hopefully will not cause too much of an issue for our two riders as Newth and Dilks sweep past on the run towards St John's. No problem at all. Well done to Harry Everts. Kept himself predictable, not doing anything silly there. So Newth and Dilks still very close together as they work their way back towards the end of the lap once more. Greasy conditions potential towards the end of this race depending on when the rain strikes, and of course all the riders on slick tyres, that could make it doubly difficult. So they've just got to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Grayson tucks up behind Joey Billam once again, looking for that move on the inside. I thought a move could be on there into paddock, but there wasn't quite enough throttle application to make it work. So again, Dilks is all over the back of the wheel of Nellie Newth. Into Iredales, gets a fast run out of the turn, hoping for a little bit more throttle down Lakeside. But Newth is very calculated. She knows exactly where to place the bike to give Austin Dilks as hard a time as possible. Now, we may not have many riders in this race, but of course you have to take into account the fact that there are a growing number of riders in Minimoto rookies in general in the country, but in race trim, there are no club level races on an independent circuit or anything of that ilk. You have to go into the national championships if you're racing, and that's while you are still learning how to ride the bike, never mind race the bike. It's very tricky indeed for young riders to develop their craft in Great Britain, but it is amazing to see the kind of talent that's come through over the years. Here's the battle for third again, Joey Billam in front of Daisy Grayson, who again tries that move on the inside line, hasn't quite been able to make it work. Down to Rowra. Down to Rowra. We're at Rowra. What I meant to say was down to Iredales into the hairpin. Some very legendary corners in karting here, and are becoming legendary in the world of mini bikes as well. Into the Stewart hairpin. Very tricky for Dilks to try and get the upper hand here on Nellie Newth. Cutting back and heading up towards St John's. In through the right-hander. Named, of course, because that's where the St John's ambulance crew are always parked. Sunny Bend. Out towards paddock as well. Austin Dilks again tries that wider trajectory to get a slow in, fast out approach and cut back in on Nellie Newth. But Newth again knows exactly where to put the bike. No chance for Austin Dilks at the moment to get ahead. Here is a good chance. Previously, we can see that she's a little bit slower out of the turn. Dilks is just a little bit too far back to make that committed move into McRae's. Now, if Dilks can get a little bit closer to Newth on one of the following laps, and make that bid through the chicane, he might be able to just sweep past on the overtake. But it is going to be tricky to set that up. You've got to have full confidence and perfect lines all the way through St John's, through to Sunny, through to Paddock, and then to the first apex of the S's. So once again, to reiterate, there's no club racing in mini bikes in Great Britain. The only racing you can do while you're learning to ride the bike, never mind race them, is at national level. You go straight in at British Minibikes. So these youngsters, as young as 6 years old when they begin in the Minimoto rookies class, definitely doing a sensational job. Both Austin Dilks and Nellie Newth currently in the front end of the field, 8 years of age, a couple of years experience behind them now, so the confidence levels are higher. In through the S's, Newth slow through the turn, Austin Dilks carrying the speed and the momentum, that's going to be enough, and he's going to take the lead. Well, I did say he would need to get close to Nellie Newth on the way into the first chicane. She hesitated, didn't carry as much speed, and that was enough for Austin Dilks. He now hits the front. Patience will out, discipline and control will get you to the lead, and now it's Austin Dilks' turn to defend. So now the young lady from Doncaster, Daisy Grayson, trying to get into third position ahead of Joey Billam. A very intriguing battle for third position as we continue the fight for the podium. But the battle for the lead is still going strong. Austin Dilks is trying to stay ahead of Nellie Newth, but she's not going to make that particularly easy. Up to Paddock Bend, she is still very quick around this place. And if Austin Dilks makes the slightest error going into the last lap, then Nellie Newth will be right there to pounce into the chicane. You've got to attack this, Nellie. Be aggressive. That's a bit more aggressive than she's done in previous laps. So Austin Dilks isn't safe yet. Into McRae's. He runs out a bit wide. Nellie Newth gets a better trajectory through the hairpin. This is not going to be easy for Austin Dilks to hold on to. Into Iredales. Right-hand hairpin. Back out on the throttle. Along Lakeside. This This could be very interesting indeed as they get themselves dialed in once again. Hope for the best as you run through on throttle. It's going to be an interesting position for the contenders. They will run through up towards St John's, and there is the battle for third still. Billum versus Grayson, Joey versus Daisy. Into St John's and into Sunny for the last time though. I'm not sure Nellie Newth's going to have the time. She'll have a look. She'll think about it into the final bend, but there's not quite enough space. She'll have to settle unless she can get it on the throttle quickly. Austin Dilks is just going to hold it in front of Nellie Newth. Great racing all the way, my goodness me. The best two riders of the season so far in a proper duel that lasted all the way to the checkered. And Austin Dilks and Nellie Newth, it looks like they kind of air bumped on a fantastic run there. So great race between the two, and that's only going to continue as the season progresses. Harry Evans crosses the line a lap adrift. Is Daisy Grayson going to get one last shot at third position? Well, there might have been a moment or two there, but I'm afraid it's going to be fourth position for her. Joey Billum will grab third place in front of Daisy Grayson. So great racing here at Rowrah. It's first blood to Austin Dilks ahead of Nellie Newth, then Joey Billum, Daisy Grayson and Harry Evans. But now we know the best two riders in Minimoto rookies in 2025 are going to give us plenty of action and suspense all the way through this season. Is it going to be Dilks or Newth that comes through to be this year's champion? Only time will tell.
Later in the day, in truly atrocious conditions during which fog rolled in, making it impossible to see, Elon Musk take note, cameras required that see through fog, Nellie would go on to take a comfortable win this time. We'll be back after this short break, don't go away.